Hello, it's Alpha here. So, tomorrow the new Clashfront game mode will begin. So I went around looking for some information about the game mode, and here is what I was able to find out. Now, maybe not everything is 100% correct, but you should at least get some kind of idea as to how the game mode works and what kind of rewards you can expect. So, every Clashfront game will begin with 4 guilds selected and placed into this battlefield. Now, during the first Clashfront game, most guilds will be placed in a group with 2 bot guilds and 2 actual guilds. So if there is someone called like Contender Guild on 2 of these teams, then you know that those are bots. But after a while, everyone should be placed into battles where it's only like real guilds. So then each kind of game starts with this preparation phase, and the preparation phase is 3 days, I think. And after the 3 days, there will be 4 rounds of battles, and each round will last 1 day. So in total, one of these so-called Clashfront games lasts 7 days, because there is the 3-day preparation and then 4 days of battles. And after those 4 rounds of battles, everyone will get some rewards. So the rewards are based on the tier where your guild is currently, and then based on your individual performance during that battle. And I will talk about the rewards a bit more in the next part. But after the game ends, so when the rewards are calculated, etc., 2 of the guilds with most points will be promoted to the next tier, and 2 guilds will stay at the same tier, at least during the early ranks. So then, after that, once the promotion happens, a new Clashfront game will begin with 4 new guilds, and the same kind of thing will repeat. So, like I said, each game lasts about 7 days, and this total event length is 28 days. So that means that there will be 4 of these games happening in total. So here is a little bit more information about the guilds being promoted and demoted. If your guild is on the novice, adept or elite tiers, then 2 of the guilds will be promoted, the 2 best guilds will be promoted, and then no guilds will be demoted. So you can't lose your tier if you are on the first 3 tiers. But then if your guild is already on the epic tier or the legendary tier, then there is a chance that you can be demoted as well if your guild is like the last of the guilds. So during the early rounds, no one will be demoted, and some guilds will start at novice rank, some guilds will start at adept, and I think the top guilds will usually start at elite tier. Like for example, in this case, our guild will start at the elite rank already, but we are facing already 4 actual guilds. What kind of rewards can you get after each of these games? So 4 rounds of battle. You will get these rewards based on whether you were the number 1, 2, 3 or 4 guild. Now, if you look at these rewards, there is not actually that much difference between the rewards. So in that sense, it doesn't really matter which rank you get. It's a small difference in the guild medals, but of course 2 of the top guilds will be promoted to the next tier, so then you can get a bit better rewards during the next game. And then you can also get some individual player rewards based on the tier of your guild. So if you are on the elite tier, for example, you can get some Twilight Essences and Diamonds, but once again, there is not huge difference between these rewards. So as long as you participate, you will get kind of the same rewards as everyone else. And these are all of the 4 guilds are included in this one. So whoever is the top 1 to 30 in all guilds combined will get the best rewards. And I think how it's determined who is the best is how many wins you have in the battles during the battle, you personally. So then, after all of the 4 Clashfront games happen, you will get this grand prize based on what tier your guild is at the end of the 4 games. So here is the example of total rewards that you can get from the event. I'm using elite rank as a basis for this reward. So if your guild would be inside the elite rank the whole event, I mean everyone should get to the elite rank at least, because you can't be demoted. This would be somewhere around what you can expect to get from the whole event. So in total you would get something like 8,000 guild medals, 800 diamonds, 24 Twilight Essence, and then the grand prize of 10 Stargazers, some more Twilight Essence, some more Temporal Essence, and some more experience. And then, of course, if your guild ranks better than Elite, then you can get, like during the event, you can get a couple hundred more diamonds throughout the event, so something like 2,000 extra guild medals. And maybe the biggest difference is that if your guild is actually ranking on like the legendary tier or whatever was the best tier, you can potentially get like 75 more Twilight Essence than you would if you were ranking on the Elite. So this is not that great increase in terms of rewards for most players who don't struggle with Twilight Essence, but obviously some people really want the Twilight Essence as well. As long as your guild is just like participating in the event, you will pretty much get all of the rewards that matter for most people, which is the Temporal Essence and the Stargazers, and some diamonds and guild medals. How does the actual rounds work then inside the game? So there is 4 rounds of battles. When the daily reset happens, when all of the like Dream Realm bosses etc. are reset, there is a 12-hour deployment phase. So you have 12 hours to choose where you want to place your troops. So you have the option to, during the first round, you can only place troops into these 2 areas that are next to your starting tower. So you can just click the plus sign and assign one of your groups into here, or you can assign all of your groups into one area, or you can split them however you want. I think the guild leaders have some like options as to they can suggest where people should place their troops, but people can also just place their troops on their own. And the only thing you do is you just select here that I want to put one of my groups here and here and here, and that's all you have to do. It takes like, I don't know, 15 seconds or whatever. And then, here is written where you can deploy your troops. So during the first round you can only deploy to next to your tower, but then let's say that after the first round your guild is able to gain control of this area, then you can place during the next round you can place your troops on any of the areas that are connected to this area. So you could place them, for example, from here you are connected to the center, so you can place your troops into here during the next round. And that's it. Then if you actually like click one of these options, this is basically what you see. So you can just click deploy, and you will deploy the troops that you or the groups that you want into this area. And then I guess this is like the guild leader's suggestion as to how many troops we want in this area. And then there is also this vanguard skirmish group. So some of the players can be appointed as vanguards, and then they can place, by the looks of it, they can place one of their teams as the vanguard skirmish group. So I think each of these areas can have only one of these vanguard groups. And then if for example the purple team places vanguard here and the red team places vanguard here, those 2 teams will fight each other. Okay, so once everyone has deployed their troops during the 12 hours, so you have 12 hours to deploy after the daily reset, the battle will happen. So you don't actually choose who you are fighting with or anything like that. So the teams are just like the game matches who you're fighting with, and you will only see something like this. So battling is happening, results are calculated in like 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever, how long it takes. And then after the calculation, you will get the results. So who won like what areas, and you will also see replays of the battles. So you can study, like if you want to study like what happened, how well my teams did. So you get actual replays of the battles and everything. Once everything is calculated, then you just wait for next day and then do the same thing again. So four rounds of battles in total. This is something that the day 2 could look like. Blue team would conquer these areas during the day 1, so then during the day 2 they have the option to start deploying troops to the center, because these center areas are connected to this side and these center areas are connected to this side, but you can see that they can't, for example, deploy any troops on these 3 areas because they don't have anything right now that is connected to them. And I guess you can see that the guild leader is saying that we should place like 50 teams in this area and 50 teams in this area. And how do you then actually get points in this event? The main source of points is by controlling these areas at the end of the day or end of the battle. So you can look at this value at the bottom right corner, which says that this controlling this area is worth 10 points. So you can see that during the day 1, red team gained control of both of these areas. That's why they have 22 points. Now the 2 points that they got extra was from the vanguard battle. So winning the vanguard battle gives you 2 extra points. And the blue team was able to control these 2 areas. So they have 24 points because I guess they won 2 of the vanguard battles. And then yeah, purple team has 0 points because they don't control any areas at the end of the day. And then I guess maybe yellow team won one of the vanguard battles, so they have 2 points. And you might have noticed that these outer areas are worth only 10 points, but these inner areas are worth 25 points, so it's more than double. So even if you control both of these, like red controls both of these at the end of the day, but blue controls only this one, they are still ahead because it's so much more points controlling the center areas. So it makes sense to go for the center areas instead of focusing on the outer areas. That's basically it. Now a couple of things to note about the game mode in general. It has soft cap on the resonance level, so having high resonance gives you advantage. So if you want to appoint people as vanguards, it's maybe best to do so with people who have the highest resonance level, because it gives them some extra levels. Now obviously it's not the only thing that matters, but it's something to consider. How are the actual fights happening when multiple teams are assigned into like one area? It's a little bit unclear to me how they are actually happening, because we haven't really experienced it, but I was able to get some screenshots from like the replays that you get after the battles. So it kind of looks like the game selects like one team. So you can see here that this team has fought like 6 times. It has 6 wins, and then the team lost in this next battle. And then the team that won against this team is then kind of like starting to battle. So I guess they will battle until they lose, and then I guess the winner will start battling until they lose. So it kind of looks like it will select one team that will then start facing teams until it loses, and then maybe the winner of that battle is selected as the team who then starts fighting. So this means that the fights are not divided evenly. So in that sense that not everyone will necessarily fight. Even if you deploy your troops, it doesn't mean that you will necessarily fight, because if one team is able to win like most of the fights, then not everyone has to fight. And also this kind of means that maybe having like really strong teams can be good, because you can win like 6 times in a row rather than making like multiple teams that are not as strong. But I don't know. There is also this thing that if once you start going into win streak, this game mode has something called fatigue. So you will, after 3 wins, your team will start becoming weaker and weaker after every win, because I guess the idea is that there can't be just like one team who has like Paragon 4 heroes that are crazy strong, and then that team will win like 50 fights in a row. So at some point, even that really strong team will become so weak that they can't win anymore because of this fatigue effect. So when you are designing your team, you are placing an attack team, like attack formation. But when these fights actually happen, it's kind of randomly chosen whether you are the attacker or the defender. If you are chosen as the defender, then your placement is just mirrored on the defense side. So your Arden is on the right hand side right now, right hand side. So it's kind of like flipped around, so that is also on the right hand side from this point of view. So this means that things like enlightening spell or this resonance spell should work on both sides, but I mean, I because this game mode is in beta, or it's kind of like they're testing it for the first time, I wouldn't be 100% sure that it's working as intended. So maybe it is, maybe it's not. I guess we'll find out. But just keep that in mind, that everything should work, except that things like it's a little bit unclear as to can you use something like Brian to bait out the Lily Mace ultimate on both sides, because I think it doesn't work, but that's maybe not something that you have to worry about too much. Just focus on building like good teams and don't maybe think this kind of stuff too much. And as far as I know, between each of the rounds, you have the option to change your teams, like modify your teams, which heroes you want to use, which placements you want to use. So you can check the replays, and if you see that, okay, this team is not working at all, then you do have at some point between the rounds, you do have the option to change your team. If you have a team that won multiple times and gain some fatigue points, then that should also reset between rounds, so that your team is kind of like full strength at the start of the next round.